Join me every Tuesday for fun and games and play for cash. That's right. Sylvia Mid, the fun word guessing game is back and you can come aboard and play. It's simple. Just email us your name and contact information and you are in there, baby. Yeah.
Hey, welcome joining us on another Thursday, or wait, hump day rather.
Wednesday.
Another hump day on the Tim's Tidbit Show with Larry E. and Smooth Tim. How are you doing tonight, Larry?
Hump day, man. I was humping to get on the show.
That's why they call it hump day.
Yeah, brother got us late. It ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? I made it start late. My bad.
Hey man, that's the way it goes occasionally. We apologize to our sponsors and advertisers. We'll get it right the next time. Hey man.
Like, I don't know. You said okay, I don't know. All right.
Hey, anyhow, let's see what the hell are we going to talk about tonight on the Tidbit topics. Oh, artificial intelligence and our future, the new labor movement, and fracking up our environment or the environment. So let's start from the top. Artificial intelligence and our future. And I guess we're going to talk about robots and robotics. And what do you think about all that, Larry? What's your take on artificial intelligence?
No, I think it's progressive. I think it's smart, but you got to make sure, we stay in control. Like our robot, remember that movie with Will Smith?
Oh, yeah.
The pre-slapping Will Smith, not the one that slapping people right now.
Right.
But robotics, it changed everything. Robotics makes everything easier and makes it faster and more convenient for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you a lot more money too using robotics. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. As long as, no, I'm gonna say this. I don't think any robot can be as smart as any human because humans are the ones that create and program the robots.
Interesting.
That's what I think. What you think, Tim?
What do I think? I think that they have their place, and can it get out of control? Well, we'll find out a little bit. I got a little video I want to show, but anyhow, the auto industry itself, robotics in the auto industry itself, there are 12,087 robots per 10,000 employees, or basically they make up just a little less than 13% of the labor force in the auto industry.
Well, there's an auto industry.
Now let's go into what robots are working in the food industry.
Okay, I want to hear this.
BW3 are using them to fry chickens, for chicken frying.
It's a lot of brothers out of jobs, though.
You have Chick-fil-A are using them for robotic delivery services.
That's stupid.
In down just south of us in a university town, they have the robot delivery all over the place. So okay. Now McDonald's is test marketing order taking. So, now I think it is good because you're right. It's reliable. It saves money. Somebody's making money. You don't have to pay overtime. You don't have to pay workman's compensation. You don't have to give them 2 weeks vacation per year. So
yeah,
but there are people out there that still.
Who wants that job at McDonald's taking orders? Who wants to take orders at McDonald's? No one. That's a job that robots can have. And I think if you go into some of these places, you got to order Taco Bell, you got to order at the kiosk. McDonald's, they got the kiosks there.
Yep.
I'm like, I'd rather for a robot. But look, if your order gonna be messed up, you messed it up because that's what you ordered.
Don't blame yourself because
you gotta blame yourself.
I'm sorry, we have artificial intelligence in here, and would you like your order repeated?
Yeah, you can't blame the robot. That was you. You ordered that. You press that stuff in, keep this, take it off, add that. I don't want it. Send.
The kiosk.
That was on you.
I was confused. I'm gonna have to say, and I played around with computers all my life. But the first time I encountered a kiosk, I was like, man, okay. Pink, 1, 2 fries.
Strange.
It was just different.
Yeah, and I was looking around like they playing with me. I'm looking around like I'm pressing the buttons and everything. Add this, take this. I was shocked, and I don't want that.
Where's that? You got punked.
Yeah, I don't want the kiosk. I'd rather have a person where if my stuff is jacked up, I can say, hey, what? I wanted pickles. I didn't get my pickles. But nobody really wants that job. So,
but it can go a little too far, especially when you start. And there is a story about Adam and Eve, and I don't know if we talked about this. 2 robots with artificial intelligence that they actually started to create a language that the
we talked about
programmers were unable to interpret. So, but let's take a look at. Here's somebody that has something to say. Let's listen to what Elon Musk has to say about it.
Oh hell.
Oh, hell yes.
If AI has a goal and humanity just happens to be in the way, it will destroy humanity as a matter of course, without even thinking about it. No hard feelings. It's just like if we're building a road and an anthill happens to be in the way, we don't hate ants. We're just building a road. And so goodbye, anthill.
The idea that the quest for strong AI would ultimately succeed was long thought of as science fiction centuries or more away.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Hal?
And maybe this is a reason why the risks are overlooked. At some point, the public must have stopped to pay attention because it all sounds like science fiction. People now see it as an artifact of a cheesy movie. Can this possibly catch us off guard?
At some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky.
Thanks to recent breakthroughs, many AI milestones have now been reached, making many experts take the possibility of superintelligence in our lifetime seriously. While some experts still guess that human-level AI is centuries away, a lot of scientists believe it will happen in our lifetimes. Elon Musk being one of them.
We have 5 years. I think digital superintelligence will happen in my lifetime. 100%.
He claims that existential threat posed by artificial intelligence is much closer than previously predicted. Musk has consistently warned us of the existential threat posed by advanced artificial intelligence in recent years. Despite this, he still feels that the issue is not properly understood. He also laid out a number of possible scenarios for us to survive the rise of AI, if at all. Before we dig deeper into what solutions Musk has to offer, let's talk about why he considers AI dangerous. We are in the early stages of probably one of the biggest technological revolution. Some people call it our final invention. If we can solve AI, we can solve so many other problems. And eventually, AI will make better decisions than humans. While science fiction often portrays AI as robots with human-like characteristics, AI can encompass anything from Google's search algorithms to IBM's Watson. But what's wrong with taking a technology that has all kinds of beneficial uses and making it better? Let's rewind. If you go back to September 11th, 1933, Ernest Rutherford, who was a well-known nuclear physicist, says that anyone who looks for a source of power in the transformation of the atoms is talking moonshine. The next morning, Leo Szilard, who is a much younger physicist, read this and got really annoyed. Then he figured out how to make a nuclear chain reaction just a few months later. The thing is, Because nuclear power hadn't even been considered before, the risks were suppressed. Maybe it was this lack of attention which then led to Chernobyl disaster. Likewise, completely ignoring the risks of AI will only harm its technological progress. If we make AI smarter than us, we have to be open to the possibility that we might actually lose control to them. As pointed out by I.J. Good, designing smarter AI systems is itself a cognitive task. Such a system could potentially undergo recursive self-improvement, triggering an intelligence explosion, leaving human intellect far behind. In 2016, Elon Musk said that humans risk being treated like house pets by artificial intelligence unless a technology which can connect brains to computers is developed. Shortly after making the remarks, he announced Neuralink, a new brain-computer interface startup that is attempting to implant a brain chip. Neuralink will allow humans to compete with AI, according to Musk, as well as help cure brain diseases, control mood, and even let people listen to music directly from our chips. We will come back to this later. Most researchers agree that a super-intelligent AI is unlikely to exhibit human emotions like love or hate, and that there is no reason to expect AI to become intentionally benevolent or malevolent. Instead, when considering how AI might become a risk, experts think of two scenarios mostly. The first scenario is programming AI to do something destructive. Autonomous weapons, for example. In the hands of the wrong person, these weapons could easily cause mass casualties. The most serious problem is avoiding being thwarted by the enemy. These weapons would be designed to be extremely difficult to simply turn off, so humans could possibly lose control of such a situation. The second scenario is programming AI to do something beneficial, but it develops a destructive method for achieving its goal. This can happen whenever we fail to fully align the AI's goals with ours, which is strikingly difficult. If you
What do you think?
Man, I saw a bunch of stuff wrong with that, Tim.
I saw a bunch of stuff. I was like, Elon could be like, he's out there. We know he's out there, but he's got a freaking point.
No, you don't. When he said put a brain chip in your head to compete with AI, he basically saying that I'm going to create artificial intelligence and get you with a brain chip, where I can control artificial intelligence and control you at the same damn time. That's a setup. But we're going to use the brain chip to compete with artificial intelligence. No, he's going to use the brain chip in your head to control you with. Come on, man, that's a setup.
Isn't
that
like science fiction? Like, you know, and like he's out there somewhere. Yeah, I mean,
he's using reverse psychology. AI is dangerous, but I'm gonna give you this brain chip that you can put in your brain that's going to help you compete against AI, but I'm still pushing AI at the same time.
Like creating his own race of superhumans.
Man, what is that called? Exactly, a demolition man. That's awesome. Man, come on, bro.
You know what? Yeah, you know, that does kind of have a point. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then in the end with the railroad tracks, as another red flag, they said that what they say, that they're going to, if we don't align AI with our own mission, our own objectives, our own goals.
Yeah.
Now, if we know America, if we know this country or any other country, the goals of any other country over government is supremacy over every other country, other government, and to get rich. So how in the hell do you tell me that you're going to align AI with your goals? If you own AI, if you own the money, you own the production of it, you're going to align it with your goals. It's to be dominant. It's to make the poor. It's to get even richer. It's a bunch of bull crap, man.
Well, you know that Mike, I sometimes wonder, who was it in that John-Claude Van Damme and some of the guys in them where they made these superhuman guys, they implanted shit into their head.
Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
I got both of those movies. Yeah, Universal Soldier.
So there you go. That's exactly what you were alluding to.
Man, well, that's what got me. When he said that, I was like, okay, Elon Musk, what the hell his name is. Okay, he doesn't like artificial intelligence, but he has the money to back it. Then he said, I'm going to create a brain chip so you can compete against artificial intelligence. Wrong.
And what makes you think that they don't already have test subjects trying it out?
They do. I heard on the radio the other day. They said you can get the $7,000 a night for 4 or 5 stay-ins if you go to this place and they take studies and tests on it. I almost did it. I said, shit, I'm gonna give me some $7,000.
They'll be drilling into the back of your head.
You were on the radio. I said $7,000 just to be a test dummy. I'll take that. Man, come on, Tim. That's a bunch of bullshit. Rich people, the government, they're gonna get all over that, and if it works, they're going to control humans, period. We're all going to be slaves again. White people, black people, Asians, Germans, poor people. All the poor people are going to be slaves again. From upper middle class on down. You're going to be a slave again, just like it was back in the 1600s, 1500s, 1300s.
Yeah, we cut that a little bit short on some of that craziness. But, I mean...
no, it's a scam. And
people could go on YouTube and watch the video all about that Elon's discussion on artificial intelligence, and we discussed a little bit earlier about it's something we have to adapt to, and I think it's something that we need to keep aware of.
Yeah, but we ain't getting no damn brain chips and shit.
No, I don't think I needed anybody drilling in my head. I'm smart enough for my own good. I'm told.
If I ain't smart enough by now, then forget about it.
My mama told me that all the time, Larry. You're smart enough for your own good, son.
If I know what's right and what's wrong, I don't need no damn robot to hold my hand. I'm grown now.
Hey, let's move on. The new labor movement. And basically, I think what we're talking about is a lot of these companies that are starting to see, unionizing. Because, they want better wages. They want a little bit more medical benefits, maybe options in education. Who knows? But, Biden is also pushing this. Some people may be against it. Some people may be for it. Let's take a listen to what Biden had to say.
Today, President Joe Biden addressed a packed meeting of the North American Building Trades Union at a moment when organized labor is on a roll in a way it has not been in a very, very long time. Just in the past 1 week, an unaffiliated, totally grassroots campaign organized the first ever union in an Amazon warehouse in Staten Island, New York, unionizing the more than 8,000 employees there. And the leader of that movement, a man named Chris Smalls, who, along with many others, started the effort early in the pandemic, he was singled out by the company and fired, ostensibly for violating coronavirus protocols. But an internal memo leaked to Vice News showed a corporate campaign targeting him, saying he is not smart or articulate, and that Amazon should try to, quote, make him the face of the entire union organizing movement. Well, they got that right. Now Smalls is taking a rightly earned victory lap after the union vote succeeded on Friday, and he is in fact the face of the entire movement. It's worth remembering Amazon is not the only large, long-time ununionized workforce. In the past few months, there have also been labor incursions into Starbucks stores, part of an industry that is notoriously hard to unionize. Since the first store in Buffalo, New York, voted to form a union late last year, close to 190 have petitioned for union elections, and 10 stores have voted to join Workers United, including the Manhattan flagship store. And so it was in this context that President Biden, a pro-union guy, head of the party most associated with the labor movement, went to this union conference to deliver this message.
That's what unions are about, in my view, about providing dignity and respect for people who bust their neck. That's why I created the White House Task Force on Worker Organization Empowerment, to make sure the choice to join a union belongs to workers alone. And by the way, Amazon, here we come.
Watch. That's a pretty remarkable moment. Now, after that from the president, you just have to wonder about Amazon spokesman Jay Carney, who served as White House press secretary under President Barack Obama. Before that, as communications director for then Vice President Joe Biden. Really have to wonder how that line from his former boss landed as he no doubt watched the president's speech from his office this afternoon.
Yeah.
What's your view on unions?
Yes.
You're pro-union?
Yeah, I'm pro-union. These companies, the company I'm with, that's why I have so many issues. You heard about some of my issues. You know personally, I have so many issues with this company making millions. I'm not saying my company's making millions. But what about Walmart's? The Walmart organization, Amazon organization, all these multi-million-dollar organizations that are putting these presidents and senators into office and all these guys, they should have a union because unions protect the best interests of employees. They do. And then I guess somebody didn't pay off Biden because he's going after Amazon. Something happened. Somebody didn't pay their money. And unions are the best thing going. It's sad that you would bust your butt for a company and you would have to go to an outside source to make the company that you work for on a daily basis do right by you. That's a shame. And unions do that. Unions come in and say, they work hard, they deserve this, they deserve that. You have these funds, you have these abilities. Your homeboys are getting it. How come they're not getting it? And they doing all the legwork. Unions are and don't get me wrong, unions get paid too. Unions profit off of this, but unions have power, and unions have been around for the longest. Kroger has a union. Kroger grocery store chain has a union.
Right.
And I've seen it work. And yes, I'm pro-union.
Right. Yeah.
I'm motivated.
You know, yeah, I've been in a job that had a labor union, and I served on the labor board for a couple of years. It's it's interesting how the give and take that goes back and forth on the table. And as for instance, I want to get an additional 2 weeks maternity leave on top of the already 2 weeks leave that people usually get. So we're going to give these women, if they're for maternity, 4 weeks. How about that? What are you going to give us? That's that's the back and forth. It's like, just how about you just treat people right? Yeah,
if you got a hardworking employee that's been there for you, and let's talk about maternity. You don't know what's going to happen when a woman has a baby. It could be early, it could be late.
Could be complications. You don't know.
Complicated, yeah. A lot of things. I went on vacation one time because I thought my wife was expecting at a certain time. I went on vacation, and she came later. And my vacation time had ran out. So I tried to get extra days because the time I took off were relevant because the baby was born after my vacation time was over. They didn't allow me to do it.
They didn't let you. That's why FMLA's there.
Yeah, but they didn't allow me. They didn't allow me. So
that's a federal standard. See,
but they didn't give it. Maybe I didn't go to the proper channels.
Yeah, but, they really got no choice. Basically, what happens if your company decides to try to butt fuck you like that, all right, there's FMLA process. It's federal mandated labor, right?
Right.
So it's the Family Medical Leave Labor Act.
Right.
I mean, it's an act of Congress, all right? They have to abide by it. And that would be to afford you. And it may be unpaid.
Well, there was another problem, too. So, and...
but they absolutely have to give it to you. Now,
I looked into it. I had just bought a house. I had looked into it, and then it was tough, and they screwed me. And then I was fighting. I was sleepy, trying to hold my baby, going to sleep, going to work, everything. And instead of saying, hey, man, check this out, we'll look out for you. And I've been with the company for years.
Man, what that does, it allows you to sit there and say, hey, I got like 40 hours of vacation. And I also got some, other acquired time, right? And that allows you to apply that. You're out of sick leave. Well, okay, but now I may have compensation days, comp days for something or whatever the case may be. And, or I've got these XYZ vacation days. Yeah, that's why FMLA is in place, because it makes the company utilize that. So you could exhaust absolutely everything. Yeah. And then they don't have to pay you shit.
Yeah,
but they still can't fire you. They can't fire you or terminate you because of the situation, especially medically, that you were in.
But you know what? If the companies would take care of their people,
we don't have to worry about
work
that.
Hard for them. You don't have to worry about the union. And I'm pro-union.
Right.
Martin Luther King was pro-union. And at the end of the day, he always did was try to do what was right. When it comes to the people.
Think about that, and that's all part of motivating your workforce. You don't want your workforce unhappy, and and unhappiness equals to me low production, right?
Low morale, low production. You get more out of people when they're motivated
So,
and they
yeah,
like coming to
have
work.
some incentive, implement some incentive, that's what these unions are saying. Give a person a reason to want to come to work. Give them an incentive that they know that, there's not going to be nepotism, your cousin coming in and getting the new foreman job.
Right.
That kind of stuff,
Yeah, I'm like, listen, I'm like, this whole United States is a union. That's what this United States is. That's a whole civil war is over developing a union. The Civil War made the United States a union. So how come we don't have unions with all these companies that have been established? There should be a union with every company. There should be union representatives represent the people, no matter where you work, hospitals, even anything that's, how can I say, a fortune, anything, any company that's bringing in substantial income and have X amount of employees should have a union.
But
now, if you got like just a tree trim business, you and your crackhead cousin and an uncle or something, it's three of y'all, and you got 3 lawnmowers or something. No, you don't need no union with that, But when it comes to these companies that have money, yes, you need a union.
McDonald's, Burger King, all these, yes.
Yeah. Anything that's established, that's established and organized well, that's commercial, should have a union. Because if not, the employees are going to get screwed.
Oh,
they will get screwed.
The interesting argument to listen to let's say
UPS,
the anti-union is, they're going to be coming in and they're going to be wanting $30, $40 an hour. And as I just said 5 minutes ago in the discussion, yeah, that's what you do have to come at the table with, because they're not going to give you that. They're going to negotiate. It's like going to a pawn shop, right? You're going to broker back and forth until you can get something that sounds appeasable for your workforce. That's your responsibility as a labor, negotiator.
Yeah, well, you got to look at the scope of work too. Now, you ain't gonna pay nobody 30 or 40 hours, $30-$40 an hour to
exactly right.
Janitor. Yeah, you got to get the scope of work, and then the scope of work, the severity of work, the importance of the work.
That could be hazardous.
You got to look at the danger involved.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of things you got to incorporate into getting that $34 an hour, and then you got to look at how much money is that company making per day off that person. Can they, and so they can afford it, give it to them? Like, come on, man, that's too easy. You got certain jobs, you can't have a union in certain jobs. I'm saying in general, if you got like right now, I think Target is paying pretty well, and they don't have a union.
Well, the interesting thing is what's nice about in the union that I was with is it didn't matter what your race, creed, color, sex was. The position paid that amount of money. So if you was a secretary, that's what every secretary made.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. I mean, if he was, valet, I mean, it didn't matter. That's what all of them made.
Yeah.
And everybody got the same amount of, incremental increase. It wasn't, hey, Larry, I'm going to give you 10%, bonus this year, and I'm going to give John over here too. Well, that ain't fair either. And that happens.
No, because you're homeboy, you'll give him more money. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it fixes stuff like that. It levels the playing field, so to speak, in a lot of different ways. But it also, protects a lot of lazy people.
Well, then you got to weed them out, and then that's difficult. With the lazy people. Mm-hmm. No, the lazy people. That's the people on the job, the employees. They have to address that. That can be addressed by the employees. So if you're going to bring a union in, you need to have somebody represent the people. And then for the union rep, of course, that's the person, but you need to have somebody on the inside too, of course, because I think it's somebody that works there, the union rep, and then outside the union rep, and then the whole thing together. But then you got to just weed them out. Now, if somebody's asking, I want every weekend off, but nobody else has every weekend off. No, you can't have every weekend off. If you're not doing the same job he's doing or she's doing, and you want every weekend off, you ain't having it, and you shouldn't get paid the same thing. If he is getting paid, she's getting paid. You get rid of them. Because they're going to mess up the whole thing for everybody.
And that's how they can, and that's, you have to be very careful. That's interesting because I encountered that one time, and that's when you have people with seniority wanting to be able to say, well, I want to have first crack at, taking vacation slots.
I think seniority is important though.
And to a degree, but Larry, you could have 6 weeks of vacation, and you take up this week, that week, and then I got 6 weeks. I take up this week, that week, and pretty soon, all your senior people have hogged up, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and everybody else is like, "Hey, man."
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Okay, but then they can't have every holiday.
Right. So that's what you do. There you go, buddy.
You mix it. You get this holiday, you get that holiday. You get that holiday, you get that holiday. You can't give. You just got to just mix it up.
So it's a lot of people like the union, but you gotta watch how going into it.
It's all about somebody that's been very tedious when they do their job as a union rep. To know what they're doing and make sure they stay on top of it all.
Make sure that language is correct in the contract. So everybody gets treated fairly. 100%.
Period. And that's fair, especially the people that are really doing the work.
So maybe you do need some union.
Oh yeah, I need some union, bro. So it's gonna spark my motivation right here. I might be like the other brother with the popping that champagne without a job.
Oh,
but I'll be the face of the union. I'll be there telling jokes, roasting people.
Unintentionally. Well, that's all right. Hey, we got to do what we got to do. You know what? Let's move on to the next one. This is one of my favorites because I lived in Texas for 9-10 years down there, and that's been your home. And man, do they ever frack. And do you know anything about, the side effects, what's going on, how much they do frack, and what they're using to frack?
Enlighten me.
Oh, okay. Well, enlighten you.
Big words. Enlighten me.
Enlighten me. Yeah, okay. Well, let's check out a video.
There's about 25 gas wells are being drilled and fracked close to this wetland. And we're not only very greatly concerned about this precious and delicate ecosystem, but this wetland also is part of the recharge area of our drinking water and the water our cattle operation relies on.
This year has been extremely hot with no rain. The river is at an all-time low, and they pump 24/7. On a year like this, there should be some regulation in effect.
With fracking, it's a totally different ball game because you need lots of water. And with the fracking process, with sand, silica, and then proponents and emulsifier, they can be up to 300 to 700 chemicals. These chemicals can be hormone disruptor, cancer-causing, radioactive, and you get natural occurring radioactive material back up with the fracking process.
We are like humble, subsistence, land-based people, and our culture is defined by our practices around harvesting, preparing, and sharing moose, huckleberries, and fish. It's that simple. And if it's those foods, or the act of going to harvest those foods, that's going to make our unborn babies sick, then that is genocide.
We have some of the best quality wind in the world right here in the Peace region. We have to figure out what we're doing wrong, and we have to figure out how to do it better. And we know how to do both of those things.
Yeah, you know what is interesting that I read about that when she was talking about the chemicals and different things as the people, let's say that's like fracking all around the Arlington area. I mean, that place is filled with it, yes?
Mm-hmm.
What they're using to what components, whatever toxic compounds or whatever they're using to shoot in the ground to, solidify that so they can bring up the oil. They don't have to tell you what it is because they call it a a trade secret.
Really? That's a lie.
Oh yeah, they just don't want to tell you what they're polluting the ground with.
Yeah, it's called protecting their own interests.
And then sometimes the other part about that makes me think, and that concerns me, is when you are actually, drilling down and putting all that crap in the ground, and what is that doing to the water table? And what is that doing to the platonic table?
Yeah, it's destroying everything, man. You're polluting the water. You're gonna platonic table. Everybody, I don't know if anybody know about platonic table. That's a lot of reasons why you have earthquakes. Am I correct?
Yes, that's why they
shifts.
Right. Now let's talk about that right in your area, right where you live.
Yeah.
How many earthquakes have you had in your area in the past 10 years? Multiple. Did you ever have an earthquake? You remember when growing up?
Yeah, I remember I was in school one time and I was in the lunchroom. My teacher, Miss Cassins, fell down. She was a big woman, and it felt like an earthquake. Everything was
on the real part, though. I mean, around the Dallas area. I mean, it's insane how many. I mean, I think they had while we were down there 3 or 4 earthquakes.
Think about it. The Texas is known for what's that? Tornadoes. So we got tornadoes and earthquakes. Come on, man, it's too much. And then polluted water. Is that Michigan that got that bad water? What state has it real bad?
Oh, that's
Detroit.
Flint, Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah,
I'm
Flint,
like,
where their water quality was just complete crap, and they never told anybody, and they were drinking that crap water. Yeah.
Yeah, you start growing extra feet. All I'm saying is, man, these companies know what they're doing, and then the ignorance of the people is the reason why they get away with it. And people get paid off, and I'm pretty sure that stuff can get out there like it should get out there. But I guarantee you the city is along with it because they're getting paid off. The local government, the state government, they're getting all paid off because there's big dollars, big money, big dollars, and they're petroleum.
You know what?
And they don't care about the long-term effects because they're okay right now.
The long-term effects there is there's a beryllium manufacturer to the over towards the east away from us, and they ended up being the cause of what they found, a cancer cluster. All these people were getting cancer in this area. They couldn't figure out why, and then they finally associated was this beryllium plant putting out all this toxic crap into the air, and these people are sucking it up every day.
And it happens a lot. It happens everywhere. It's happening right now in places we don't even know about. If you start thinking about, the trade laws and stuff like that. Anytime you have something that should be traded with each country that's bad or good or whatever, they'll send it to another country, dump it out there. They'll pollute that area up.
Another thing that was interesting about fracking, and I had watched another video, it was quite lengthy, and I knew it was too long for this, is a woman took infrared goggles and with some type of an adaptation to look at the exhaust of a fracking site because they burn the gases off, yes? And you can't see it with the human eye, but with these goggles, you can see all these pollutants actually really going into the air.
You're sniffing that stuff into your lungs. Kids are sniffing it.
And that's going all around the neighborhood of these fracking stations. Besides what they're injecting into the water, in those wells that they have to have.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because there's a lot of them in Texas, and it goes to show you how greedy people are, and the extent that people will go to make a dollar. And you know what? And that same stuff is hurting their own children, hurting their own grandkids, their great-great-grandkids. Because at the end of the day, we're not gonna be on Earth for a long time. 100 years ain't nothing compared to 1,000 years or 2,000 years. This Earth is gonna be here long, but when we gone, after we're gone or whatever. But at the end of the day, you still gotta look at the long-term effects. Even some short-term effects are disastrous, depending on the area that you're living in. So. But that's the mentality of people, Tim. They don't think about the long-term effects, and they know that they can get rich. And then when they know they can get rich, if other people know they can get rich, then they can get paid off to get rich, then everybody's on board to get rich.
Well,
but not to be healthy.
Right. I think, some people sit there, well, they want to, completely shut down the coal industry. They want to shut down the oil industry. No, I don't know.
You can't go that far.
No, you can't go that far. What you need to do is reduce the amount of resource that you're taking out of Mother Earth, utilize some of the other resources that Mother Earth is giving you, i.e., wind, i.e., sun.
Yeah. Even without using natural resources, companies can be smarter. Put companies in areas where people can get to work without using their cars, or provide more public transportation.
Public transportation would be great.
It's 2022. It's so many things. I use mopeds or motorcycles or something.
With the price of gas, that ride sharing might be a good damn idea, Larry.
Right? The train, provide a public system. Keep all the crackheads off, though, because I don't want to be on a train and hear a guy preaching the gospel that's not even a real minister. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff you got to get rid of. Get a clean running train system. Put those in areas, even in rich areas, because the rich area, I don't want no train in my area. Listen, do you want your great grandkid walking around with 3 arms and 4 legs?
I was going to ask you if the train stations between Dallas and Fort Worth were more packed than usual since gas is going up.
No, see, I actually rode the train a lot when I was in Dallas. I'm in Grand Prairie now, and I love riding the train. But I haven't rode on a train lately, but I don't think it's changed, And one thing about the train system, we get off the point really, the train system is not as safe as it used to be. So the integration, they need to just safeten it up, integrate it more, and make sure it's more diverse. Because you get certain areas where it's not real diverse, and it's just certain people riding the train, and then you got to get everybody riding the train.
Oh yeah,
change everything.
That stop down by the square is dangerous.
Yeah. Hey, and then think about it, man. I don't know if it was a cartoon where the wild thornbirds or something like that, because this little girl talked to animals. Now, these birds had trouble getting these worms out of trees. So she gave the birds a little tic-tac, a little thing to get them out. So then the birds ate up all the worms. And then when all the worms were missing, it started messing with the ecosystem. Everything else started failing because those birds had that advantage to get more worms than they're supposed to get. So that's what's going to happen. If you use up all the resources, we're going to lose our advantage. And then everybody's going to suffer going down the line. It's okay to use those natural resources, Tim, but you don't want to exhaust all of them. You got to take it easy. It's other things we can do. And it's just people being antisocial and being introverted where they don't want to be associated with other people and use these transportation sources. Or they just thick-headed. I ain't going to be no tree hugger. I'm not going to do this. I'm like, at the end of the day, you're going to have to do something.
You know what? And since you brought that up, that's real interesting because a lot of people do. They look at the BLM and the Bureau of Land Management and the National Forest Service, and they sit there and see, look at all that resource, look at all that money, and a lot of people would love to encroach onto that because there is, but they don't realize how much of that is that protected land is doing exactly what you said. It's keeping a certain type of worm around. It's keeping a certain type of bug around. It's keeping a certain type of whatever around it. Everything has a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Everything has a purpose. And I'm a big fan of Mad Max. Remember Mad Max, the movie?
Mm-hmm.
How the land was, how they projected how it's going to look, if they were all the resources, the water is scarce and everything. That's how I see it. I see it as everybody out there, instead of competing for a job, they're going to be competing for a glass of water, competing for just an apple or orange or a piece of meat, because it's going to be so scarce.
Well, that's why we need to pay attention to those kind of things, and, pay attention to our environment, not destroy it by fracking and some of these other things. I mean, find some alternative methods. And,
Tim, and they know about it. We got a very
we know about it. I mean, it's not like you're going into it. I can't believe that happened.
And stubborn people. I ain't doing that. I ain't using this. I ain't using that. Hey, but if you do use it, guess what happens? There's a company down here, electric company down here. Now it's another company that uses the wind things.
The turbines. Mm-hmm.
Turbines. They use the turbines and they give you a cheaper price. But the bigger company charges you another fee for using them. So you get the wind turbines, and your say your electricity bill is about $200 a month. You get the wind turbines, they go down to like $75 a month, or go down to $50 a month. Then the other company that owns the wind turbine company, they charge you another $100 or $150. Your bill is even more, just the same. So that has to stop. So if you got a company that's bringing in its green energy, the bigger company cannot charge you an excess fee for using green energy when you actually saving money using green energy. It's got to be some kind of incentive for you using the green energy, like solar panels. You might have a solar panel company, but then again, it's going to be a company that owns them. It's going to charge you a fee for using the solar panel company.
That's
this
interesting.
is happening down here in Texas.
I know there's a lot of, there's a huge wind turbine fields there, just south of Amarillo.
Yeah, and that's one usually it every week. I was almost there this week.
I mean, that's just huge. And I mean, but the one thing I do know, like when it comes to, the solar, I know, they do give you a reduction because you're actually putting back into the power grid. So they give you a little bit of reduction on your price because you're feeding the power grid with your solar panels.
They should make that mandatory. It should be a mandated law. And solar power is usually ran on sun. So when it comes to the states in the United States or any country that has states that have an excess amount of sun or light or whatever, they should be mandated.
Make it a requirement. But you got to
make it
help feed the power grid.
Just like they got the Alaska pipeline. Why don't you get that solar energy and just consolidate it and use it like the Alaskan pipeline? What about the deserts? Siberia's, I'm not familiar with the deserts, but you can take that same energy, run a pipeline with that solar energy to all the surrounding states or countries or whatever.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you could feed a power grid with some production like that. I'm not sure. I don't know the science behind it all, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, why not?
Yeah, they're not thinking out the box. If you were smart enough to create an Alaskan pipeline with all this petroleum or whatever, or fracking or whatever, you're smart enough to use solar energy and the wind turbines to produce electricity and transfer electricity around the country, around the states, around the world. It's too easy, man. They just don't want to do it because
because there'd be no single owner.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, if they did do it, they do like the electricity company down here. They'll own the turbines and then they'll charge you 2 separate fees and run your bill right back up.
They'll figure out a way, right?
People, man, I was trying to get rich and be greedy.
Man,
hey, Tim,
we need to get in on that.
What's wrong with these people?
I ain't hip. Hey, man, you know what I want to get into is our asshole of the week.
Oh, yeah.
God. I thought that I'd seen it all when we seen that video with that Florida's Marjorie Taylor Greene blowing up a car. Yeah.
But what about the senator that said, what did he say, Americans and black people?
Americans and black people, yeah, them too. I mean, at least they were inclusive, Larry. I mean, come on.
Yeah, okay. What we got? Said Americans and black
people.
Well,
it appears we got another nutcase running.
Hope it ain't a brother. Please don't let it be a brother. Ooh, okay.
My father taught me how to handle my first gun. I taught my son Oliver how to do the same. I've been shooting and hunting my whole life. So when people say I won't support guns, they're dead wrong. Boom! Other conservatives know that I'm strong on the Second Amendment. Ted Nugent, Rick Perry, President Trump. But our Second Amendment is not just about hunting. It's about our constitutional right to protect ourselves from intruders or an overly intrusive government. So as your next U.S. Senator, I will fight for our constitutional rights.
Oh no, he talking about shooting the government. he said even over intrusive government. I don't know.
Man, I was like,
he talking about putting bullets in the government. I'm like,
Oz, what happened to you, man? I mean, wait.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't a gun guy. I'm not really a gun guy, but I believe in the right to bear arms.
I do too, but I mean, come on. Nobody's talking. nobody that I know is talking about coming in and taking your damn guns.
That'd be the last.
That'd be the last thing that would ever happen. That would never happen. People, they want this. They want some gun control. Just like we've discussed before. Do you really need a fully automatic AR-15 with a elongated mag? What for? What?
Because you got a small penis. I don't know. That's the only reason.
But
why.
yeah,
It's not big enough.
I mean, in Oz, actually, he got his doctorate in your state of Texas.
The guy right there,
Dr. Oz. Yeah, he was a psychologist.
Oh,
but he let that expire. But I guess since he did get his doctorate, he could still be called doctor. In 2006, it was the last time that he renewed his psychology license, and that was in the great state of Texas.
It's crazy because you ain't got to renew no gun license. Once you get a gun, you got a gun, but you got to renew a psychology license. Hey, guns are powerful, man. Guns are powerful. Everybody loves guns.
I don't know. No. I mean, sometimes. What was that? He was promoting some pill too, wasn't he? And he got in trouble for that, making people sick. He was in some type. Hey, he was in some.
I know one Viagra because if one Viagra, he make a lot of people happy.
No, I couldn't believe that, and I just can't believe that he's running for. And this is in Pennsylvania. I'm going to be your next senator. I'm like, you got to be.
You know what? Is this a trend now that everybody that runs for president has to have a mullet, shoot guns, call black people
be completely
un-Americans? Yeah. What the fuck? It's like everybody that runs for president, they either shooting somebody, they got a messed up haircut, or they just degrading races of people that help build a country. Not just black people. I'm just messing around.
I don't understand. And call everybody that doesn't believe in their ideas a leftist commie.
It's called being an individual. We live in a very individualistic country. That's how this country is. That's how it always be. You can have the Democrats and the liberals. You can have the Republicans all you want, but this is an individualist country. You can say conservative. At the end of the day, we all think our separate ways and do separate things.
And that's all I want is the right to think.
Yeah, I'm like,
for myself.
Guns ain't going nowhere. You put gun laws all you want, but guns ain't going nowhere. You can buy me legally. Alcohol and guns ain't going nowhere, Tim. No, sex, alcohol, and guns ain't going nowhere. Everything else can go. You can get rid of books. You can get rid of Jesus.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Now, come on, man.
Yeah, you can get rid of black people, white people, but alcohol, sex, and guns are here to stay.
Gotta have your rock and roll with that. I'm sorry, sex, drugs, rock.
You say rock and roll? I'm a hip hop dude. So,
okay, sex, drugs, and hip hop.
Guns, sex, and alcohol. You rock and roll. I like rock and roll too, but I got hip hop first. But guns ain't going nowhere. I don't know why they messing with it. Anything else is irrelevant. Like freedom of speech, they can find a way to put a muzzle on that. All these other 30 amendments that nobody ever really followed or know about. It's what's the main amendments? Freedom of speech, bear arms. It's like
freedom of religion. Freedom of religion.
Freedom of religion, and that's taken. They got rid of that. So guns ain't going nowhere. Freedom of speech and the right to bear arms, they're not going nowhere.
No.
If they were, then a lot of people would not have any power whatsoever.
No, I have absolutely no problem with anybody being a gun owner. I mean, as long as they're mentally and emotionally fit to carry it.
Yeah, and I love freedom of speech. Whether you say the right thing or the wrong thing, at least I know where I stand with you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not saying nothing at all, I can't really just. I'm like, okay, what's this? What's this motherfucker talking about?
Well, I mean, that goes right back to our asshole of the week we're running, Phil. I mean, he was, mask up, get your vaccination, blam, blam, blam. Now, vax aren't good for you. Don't get vaxxed. Don't mask. You don't need to be wearing a mask. They're intruding on you. And it's like,
one
fish.
thing with freedom is, you can't contradict yourself.
That's what I don't like. Don't be a damn fish,
Yeah.
Where do you really stand?
Once you stick with something, you got to stick with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to stick with it. Anything I say on this show, I'm not going to backtrack, and you can challenge me all you want. I'm going to stick with it.
No, we've discussed it before. When it comes to vaccinations and masks, that's your choice.
You can't complain when you get screwed.
Yeah, I mean, if you get sick, that's on you. If you make all your family members sick, hey, that's on you. Look at all these people now.
Yeah.
They're going out to all these events, and now you got another, spread going on. Well,
don't cry about it, complain now. You know the rules. You know what's going on. So, so
100, brother. Anyhow, hey, let's pop over to this, and the natural thing we got to do is get Larry in here. Where the heck are you at? Well, let's do it right from here, because I ain't sure what's up with that. What is your tip of the week?
My tip of the week, this is coming from LRE Fitness Solutions. We Keep You Moving, which is my personal fitness company, organization, which I'm trying to get grounded. I'm going to get it blown up eventually. Make realistic goals when you start training. If you weigh 500, this is no joke. If you weigh 500 pounds, don't say you're going to lose 300 pounds in 3 months. No. Okay. Don't do that. Realistic goals. If you weigh a lot and you say you want to stretch it over years, that's better. If you want to lose 20 pounds, 10 pounds, 5 pounds, that's different. But even 10 pounds, if you know you're not athletic, real athletic and active, don't say you're going to lose 10 pounds in 3 weeks. It's not possible. It depends if you're a professional athlete. If you're not possible. So make realistic goals when you're trying to lose weight or get into better shape, or not gonna say better shape and get into more condition, be more conditioned. Realistic goals, especially when you first start off. You can find me on Facebook at Estelle Jr. Larry, and you can find me on Twitter, Estelle Jr. Larry, or LRE Fitness, aka 100G. Holler at me. LRE Fitness. We keep you moving.
You know what? I like that. And that's true in absolutely everything, Larry, is have some realistic goals, and don't compare yourself. I think more importantly is don't compare yourself, because some people are more blessed in a lot of ways, okay, whether it be physically or it could be musically or it could be,
men lose weight faster than women because
in a lot of different ways. Don't compare yourself. Set realistic goals for you, no matter what you're doing. Yep, that's keeping it 100. I like that tip.
Where can we find you at, Tim?
What? Right here, man.
What's your handle?
I haven't went any damn place. You could just Google me, Tim McGiffin. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Just drop a Google and you'll find me. Anyhow, man, until next week, Larry and I are out of here. So peace, man.